Hi there! In today's video, I'm continuing my project where I'm reverse engineering the Gmail autocomplete feature. So basically, I want to build my own version of this. When I write something like, sorry for the late reply, it will autocomplete this. And if I say, let me know what you think, it will also predict what I'm about to say. But I want to connect this to ChatGPT so that we get the suggestions from there. So that then it will actually be worth something, because this Gmail autocomplete feature is not that amazing. Now, in the previous video, I already did some work on this. And here's what we have so far. Isn't this beautiful? So basically, we have a text area here, which actually I should hide. This is just a text area which we want to then convert into this kind of rich text editor. Or I'm not really building a text editor, but just because I want to have the suggestion appear here, I can't do that in a regular text area. So we copy the contents from the text area into this content editable field. So this is actually just a div element, even though I can move around in here. And currently, whenever I go to the end of a space, we will get this is a test here. So this is basically the auto-completion that we would get. So this is what we built in the previous video through a lot of problem solving. But now it seems to work pretty well. It's not perfect yet, but I think we can continue with the project. So as the first thing, let's actually hide this original text area and make it so that when we write some text in this one, it will appear here. So the text area content will always be whatever we have written here. Now, I'm not sure if this is even a good idea, but the idea is that we could just have, a regular form, and then in there we can have a text area with the class autocomplete, and then we would just change this text area into a div that is autocompletable. But the underlying form would still be there so that we can just post it regularly. So it would be easy to use in a form. So let's actually put a form here, and let's do like action is test.php, for example. And let's add like a button here for submitting this. Submit. So now it will look like this, which I want to have actually on a separate line. So let's add a line break here, and now it looks like this. But now this should be in place of that. So how do we do that? Well, we have this function here called init autocomplete. So this creates the div and then appends it to the body. But we want to actually append it after this text area element. So I think what we can do is we can use the insert adjacent element instead of this. So I can just say element, which is a text area, insert adjacent element. And we have to say after end, so that it's after it, and we pass in the element div. So if we do that, then it will appear here. And then we can just hide this. But let's not hide it yet, because I want to see that it will replicate the text from this into that. So how do we do that? Well, we have this key up event listener here, which does the autocomplete with this do autocomplete function. And I guess we can just every time copy the stuff in there. Not sure if that's a good idea, but let's just do that right away. So we have to have the original element, which we don't have right now. So we have to pass it in here. So we can just say element. Now actually, in the previous video, GitHub Copilot actually suggested to pass in both of these things in here, but I didn't. So I think Copilot already knew that this would happen in the future. But then we should have a reference to the element all the time in do autocomplete. So that's the div, and this would be the text area. Let's just call it text area. And we can just say text area value is div text content. Now I think there will be an issue that now in the text area we are going to have the autocompletion as well. But let's see how this works. If I now say something here, it will be added. But we also add this is a test now when this is shown. So we have to remove that from it. But if I move back here, then it actually does not remove it from here because I did a change to the code after the previous video in which I hide the autocompletion instead of deleting it here. Now, honestly, I don't remember why I did this. I think it solved some bug, but now it creates another bug. So we should in fact remove the autocompletion and then set the value. So since I don't remember why I did this, I'm going to just add it back. So we are going to remove just the autocompletion like this. And let's see if the bug reappears and then we can fix it in a different way. But right now I don't remember why I did it, so let's do it like that. So we check if there is the autocompletion element, which is this is a test that appears here. If we have that, then we remove it. And then we set the value of the text area to the text content of the div element. And then we do all this stuff. And we are removing here the autocompletions, but we shouldn't have to do this anymore because we remove it up here. Maybe there was an issue that there is actually multiple of these in there. But hey, let's see what happens. If I now refresh and I go here and I add a space, it only adds the space. Although I think there are 2 spaces here now. No, it's just 1. Okay, it works, that's fine. Oh, and also I added a margin in the end so that there's not actually a space here. It's just a margin in this element. So it appears as a space over there. But now it does actually work. And we are copying the text over there. So now we can hide this. So let's do that. When we add the element, we just say element.style display is none. So then it looks as if we only have a text area. Now the size is different, which is not that nice. I would actually want to copy the style from the text area into the div element. So let's do that. Now I'm not sure what all styles I have to copy. I don't think there's a way to just copy everything. So let's say div.style width is the offset width, and the height is the offset height. And what else? Is that all? Maybe that's all. Can I copy the border? Div.style.border is none. It's not none. It should be element style border. Can I in fact copy border this way? Now I do have here my own style, which has a black border, so maybe that will screw it up. But let's actually refresh. Yeah, it doesn't change the border. But what if I remove this? Am I going to have like a gray border? I'm not. Because in a text area, there's automatically a border. But how do we copy that border? I'm not quite sure. The thing might be that since it's an automatic thing, it's not going to be in the style of the element. Can we ask Copilot, copy the border of the text area? Aha! Window get computed style border. That makes sense. Does it actually work? It does work. That is very cool. Now I think there's actually a border radius too. Can we do that as well? Is there div style border radius? That's interesting. So should we do the height and width the same way? I mean, I guess offset width and offset height is gonna be kind of the same thing. Anyway, maybe that's enough. Let's refresh and, well, we didn't get the border radius. Let's actually see how these differ from each other if we still show that. Yeah, there's a border radius. Okay, I'm not going to bother with this at the moment. If you know how to fix it, you can submit a pull request. But I want to get to the actual part where we are auto-completing something real. So I'll just add here, to do doesn't work. But now, let's get to the good stuff. So I want to actually be able to say, sorry for the late, and then we should get the reply there. So how do we do that? Well, the idea that I had is that we would have like a list of auto-completions. So let's say const auto-completion list is a list. And we will add here just like a sorry for the late reply. And I guess we can get some suggestions from Copilot. I'm sorry, I don't understand. Let's do let me know if you need any help. Let me know what you think. Okay, that's enough for now. Now, how do we check if we need to autocomplete one of these things? I have no idea. Maybe there's some well-known algorithm for such a thing, but I do not know of such an algorithm. So let's try to make one up. In our do autocompletion, we get the value, which is that, or this, whichever. We can use whichever. So let's just call a function here like get autocompletion. And we pass in the textarea.value. And this function should return the part of the autocompletion. So let's just call it const autocompletion equals that. And I already have this set somewhere here. So we can remove this. And we can do this if the character is a space and we have an autocompletion. Although this shouldn't happen anymore at the space, so I can just remove this. We don't care what the character is. So we have to do exactly this, but I don't care about the space. If we have an autocompletion, then we add autocompletion. So we don't have to care about this at all. And do we even use the position now? I spend a lot of time getting the position of the caret. I mean, actually, I have to put the position of the caret in the function that gets the autocompletion, right? I think so. So I will actually move this down, and this will get the value and the position. Now, actually, should we just pass in the value up until the position? Maybe we don't care about anything else. So actually, this should be just text. I don't have a better name for it. So const text is going to be div text content. It doesn't matter which one we use, text content or textarea value, slice, and we start from 0 up until the position. So this is what we are going to use to detect if we have something in this autocompletion list that can be autocompleted from that part. That makes sense. So let's create that function. Function get autocompletion, and we pass in the text. Now, maybe Copilot will actually do it automatically, which is kind of boring. So we take all of the words, we get the last word, and then we filter the autocompletions to ones that start with the last word. I don't think that's what we want to do. Yeah, that's not what we want. I don't think we want to do this. So what Copilot is doing is it is saying that, okay, if we end with sorry, then we are going to say for the late reply. So it kind of will work, but if we write sorry for, it's not going to work because we don't start with for. So I'm not going to do this. Instead, what am I going to do? Now, this is one of the reasons why I haven't used Copilot in my videos previously, until recently, because I want to actually think for myself, and now I get distracted by what Copilot is trying to do. But let's do this. Let's loop through all of the elements in the autocompletion list. So we can do for completion of autocompletion list. We are going to check if the completion starts with the text. We are not going to do this. This is too simplistic. We have to actually take the whole thing, or in fact, the whole thing minus one character. And we have to check if that is in the end of the text. Then Y is going to be the autocompletion. And we have to basically go through each of the characters. We have to take one more character out every time until we find a match in the original text, which might be kind of slow, but let's see if it will work. I can't think of any other way of doing this. Now, I don't want to call this completion, because the completion should be just the end part. This should be what? Let's just call it a sentence. Sentence. And then we have to loop through the number of characters that are in the sentence. So for let I equal 0, I less than text, not text length, less than sentence length. And then what we're going to do here is we're not going to do this. We are going to get const start, which is going to be sentence slice from 0 to I, but not 0 to I, but 0 sentence length minus I. So this is the whole length, and we take 1 from it. So this should start from 1, I guess. So let's do like this and like that. Now actually we don't want to get to the very end because we don't want to just get from 1 character. If we just press S, it shouldn't say sorry for the late reply. So not sure what number we should use here. Anyway, we're going to slice from the beginning to the sentence length -1. So at first it's going to be -1, which is going to be, in this case, 24 minus 1, so it's 23. And slice takes what? Why can't I see slice? Because this is not TypeScript. So can I add here like a thing that var string autocompletion list? Am I then going to get this? I'm not. Why not? Come on. So what do we have in slice? We have start and we have end. So if we have slice 0, 0, is that going to be 1 character? Or do we have to have 1 in there? I'm not quite sure, so let's see what will happen. So that is the start. So then end is going to be from that until the end. That makes sense, maybe. And then what we can do is we can say if the text ends with the start, then we return the end. So now we are on the same page with Copilot. And if we went through all of these things and we found nothing, then we return null. Great. Let's see if it will work. Should we console log something? Maybe. Let's console log here. Console log start and end. Although, am I going to get a huge number of things logged in the console? Let's see. Let's open the console. Let's put it here. And let's put it always on top. And let's say something. Okay. Sorry for the late reply. So what did we get from here? Okay, so we got exactly what I wanted. So the first thing was sorry for the late ripple and then Y. And then we took 1 character out and added to the end. So that's exactly what we wanted. But, okay, we went too far. So that's the reason. We got an empty start and then the whole thing. And of course, everything starts with empty, so that's why it failed. So what should this number be? Should it be a percentage of the length or always a specific number? What if I just do like divided by 2? So then we have to write half of the thing and then we will get the autocompletion. Maybe that makes sense. Or put like divided by 3 or times 0.4. Let's see what that will do. And let's open this again and remove this. And if I add a space, for example, we got nothing. But we went only up until let me know what, which doesn't make sense. But we actually got an error. Char is not defined. I forgot to remove that. Where do you use char? Okay, removed autocompletion. So let's just remove this debugging information from here. And let's try again. Refresh. Clear. Space. Okay, removed autocompletion. But we went only let me know what you think. So maybe this should in fact be the other way. So if I want 40% of the text to be written first, then I have to put 60% here. Let's try again. Space. Okay, that looks a lot better. So what if I remove everything and I say, let me know what you think? Okay, but we have 1 extra character in there. And why is that? We have to remove from this 1 character. Why? I don't know why, but that seems like what we have to do. So we have to slice from this. What is Copilot doing again? Just start from 0 and I think the end can be -1. So that will take the last, we have to take the first character out. So we just put 1 here. Let's try again. Let me know, what you think. It works, but the text area is now so small that it goes on the next line, which looks kind of funny. So let me make the text area bigger. And technically, I can just add here, calls is, 70. And if I refresh, then that's way too big. Let's do 40. Let's do 20. and 25. Okay, that's fine. So now if we say, let me know what you think. Okay, that looks pretty good, but it's a bit slow. Not sure why that is. But hey, it's actually working. What if I say, sorry for the late reply? But now, is the space... That's interesting. And why does this work? Okay, I get what's going on here. It is not taking the last character of what we have written. So if I do this, it only takes it up until that part, and then we take the extra character out. Okay, so this is wrong. It should be the end, but the start should be just... Okay, this should be still 0. That's the problem, right? I think that's the issue here. So if I now say, let me know what... Wait a minute. What is going on here? If I put like an L here, it still suggests this. And what is now the suggestion? Let me know what. Okay, that is the start. And why is that? That's very weird. Let's try again. So refresh and remove this. If I put just an L, nothing happens. Let me know and a space, then now it works perfectly. But if I put a W, then it adds the W. Does text content get rid of the last space? I think that is what's happening. So we actually don't get the space in the text ever. So if I add a space here, it doesn't take that into account at all. Maybe if I put another space, okay, then it works. So maybe it converts the second space into a non-breaking space, and then that will be included in the text content. Let's actually verify. Let's put in here, or just in here, let's say console log, and let's do like this text. So now we get it, and let's remove this thing. So now we know what the actual text is. Hello. No, we actually do get the... We remove the last element. Why is that? Let's go down here. What are we passing in here? Sorry. This should be position +1, which is in fact the correct position. We don't have to do this -1 here, and we don't have to do that, and this can be a const. So now it's going to work. If I now refresh and I open the console, and then I say hello, then we get the whole thing. And if I add a space, there is in fact a space. So now I can do sorry for the late reply. But the spaces are still weird. Why is that? I think that again we are dealing with the non-breaking space. So this thing, if I copy that, is not a regular space, but in fact is a non-breaking space. So we can't compare that space to the space in here. And should there actually be a let here? Should I say for let sentence off? Not sure. And I can then say sentence is going to be... Well, first of all, we do have to say to lowercase, and we have to compare the ends with a lowercase version. So actually we can just do this. Let's say that the text is actually text to lowercase, and the sentence is sentence to lowercase, and the sentence is going to be sentence replace. And can we just do like a regex here? Can we say that globally we are going to replace all white space with just a regular space? So then we don't have to worry about that issue. Let's do that. So now I should be able to say even with a lowercase l, if I refresh this, sorry for the late reply. But still this doesn't work. Sorry, this has to be done in the text, not here. The text needs to be replaced. Let's try again. Sorry for the... Now it works. Late space reply. But there is no space shown. Sorry for the late. If I do this, the reply is right there. So that is probably trimmed at some point when we actually put it into the DOM. So let's remove that thing again. And when we add it, we have to actually put it back as a non-breaking space, maybe. Where are we doing that? We are setting the text content to the autocompletion. So can we here then replace Okay, Copilot knows what we want to do. So space will be replaced with a non-breaking space. Okay, and that's a nicer way of showing it here in the code. So it's not a special character. Let's try it now. Sorry for the... It works. We can do this or we can do that, and it works. But I don't like that it's jumping around like that. Late reply. Okay. And what were the other things? I forgot already. Let me know. So we have two different let me knows. Let me know what you think, or if you need any help. What you think, if you need help. So it works. Now, we can't actually autocomplete it now. We should be able to press Tab to autocomplete it, or press Right to autocomplete it, but we can't do it. So we have to implement that as well. But now it's actually working, except when I pressed Ctrl A, something went horribly wrong. So there are some issues still. But yeah, it's pretty much working. So the next thing would be to actually connect ChatGPT into this. And I guess we can just make ChatGPT create this kind of list. Now it can be just one thing, but it could be a list of things that might happen soon or something like this. We give it the text we have so far and then ask it to create a list of things we might say next. And then we just pass it into this and then it will automatically autocomplete that. That's pretty cool, if I may say so myself. So let's commit this and let's then move to the ChatGPT integration. So what did we do here? We removed that thing. That's fine. We added this thing, which is the actual, well, we changed this to post to test, whatever. And we can actually try that. So if I say something here, like, let me know what you think, and if I submit, we should actually, if I give it a name, I should give a name to it. And I guess action can be empty as well. So if I say that the name is the message, and if I go back here and I refresh and I say, let me know what you think, and we submit it, then it is actually here. So it was updated into the text area. Great. So we can commit that thing. And I'm just going to make a terrible commit with all of the code that I changed in the same commit. Added autocompletion algorithm. Great. Let's continue. So let's integrate ChatGPT. Now we could actually call from the JavaScript directly to ChatGPT, but of course then we would have to embed our API key in the JavaScript, so that's not really going to work. So instead, I think a better way would be to create like a Python server, which has an endpoint that we can call and send our message there, and then it will respond with the list of completions. Now still, for a production environment, you would have to do some checks that somebody is not using your API for free, basically, in their own application. So don't use this in production without doing those checks. But let's create a server.py. And what are we going to have here? We are going to import from Flask, import Flask. How does this work? I forgot. From Flask, import Flask. And we have an app, and we have a route, and we have a hello world, and that works great. And then if we have a main thing, then we are going to just run the thing. That's it. So if we now run Python 3 server.py, and we go here, we have hello world. Great. We have a server. Let's actually put our index in there. And let's separate out this script. So this is going to be our script. Let's create like templates, or no, it's called static. And let's add here script.js. And let's also create a style.css. And let's put our little tiny style in there. And then we should put all of this into templates / index.html. And then, did I actually create this as a folder? Maybe. So delete that thing and new file, index.html. Paste it in here. And we are going to just have a script from assets/script.js, and we are going to have a link rel style sheet. And why does Copilot not give me suggestions when I need them? Ref equals static/style.css. Maybe that's all we need. Do we need a type? Copilot, why do you not work? Anyway, let's call this complete demo. Complete is the name that I have given this project. So now if we restart the server, actually it should restart automatically. So if I refresh, and actually I have to, of course, set the route. So this is actually going to be render template, index, and we have to import Flask and render template. And if I go here now, we have this thing here. And if I say, let me know what you think it doesn't work. And why is that? Let's check the errors. Script.js not found. It's there. Static script.js. Assets, what? Static script.js. Refresh. Let me know what you think. Okay, now it works. Now we are in a Flask server. So let's create another route in here. Let's create a route complete. Let's call it complete. And this is going to do something with ChatGPT. So let's from OpenAI import OpenAI. And the client is OpenAI. And in complete, we are going to get methods post. And we are going to post in there something. And we can say that the message is going to be request form message. Should we send a form or should we send JSON? We have to first require request, and then we can get the message. So then we have to send the message to ChatGPT. So response equals client chat completions create. And we are going to set the model to GPT 3.5 Turbo. And let's use the new model. What is the new model? Okay, the new one is 0125. So this is a cheaper version. And what we are going to do here is we are going to say in the system message, you are an email autocompletion generator. Generate a list of possible things the email author might want to type next. Use the JSON format, and let's add here like completions, and it is a list. That should be enough information, and maybe we can just pass in the message here. And we have to, of course, set the response format to JSON, but it is going to be this way, type JSON object. So then ChatGPT should respond with this format. So what we can do is we can say that the response message equals response choices 0 message content. Sorry, just a message. Let's do this response message and then do message text equals response message content. And this is in fact the JSON. And let's import JSON so that then we can parse it. So we can actually do this basically. Yeah, so then we would return the JSON, but this actually JSON loads because this is a string and we have to convert it into a dictionary. And when we return a dictionary from Python or from Flask, it will be converted into JSON, I believe. So we just return what comes from there. I guess that makes sense. So now we can call that thing. And can I add temporarily here get so I can just test it easily? So can I just go to /complete and question mark message equals hello there. Let's just do that. Refuse to connect. What happened? We don't have an API key. That's probably what happened. Yes, we don't have an OpenAI API key. So let's export OpenAI API key and let's put a key in there. Okay, that has been done. So let's start up this server again. And let's see if it now will work. If we refresh, we get a bad request. Key error message. Okay, why? We don't have a message. Is it not form if it's get? I've never actually used this in Python. Is there like a get data? No, that's not it. Form message. Why does that not work? Message equals that. Damn it. What if I remove post? Does that change anything? Let's do this. Args. Thanks. So it's a different thing. Okay, fine. Let's do that and we should get something. Completions. How are you? I'd like to talk to you about. Is now a good time to chat? What can I help you with? Hey, what's up? Okay, those are some good suggestions. And they are in fact in the right format. So it works. So let's go back to just the post version. And let's integrate this into our script. Let's create a new function. Get completions. And I guess we can pass in the text. And what we're going to do here is we are going to send the text to that endpoint. So we are going to say const response equals fetch complete. And we are going to say a method is post and headers. Now, this is why we might want to use JSON, because Copilot always wants to use JSON and ChatGPT wants to use JSON. Everybody uses JSON nowadays. So let's see how it does this. Okay, it just does this and that's it. And then we can return response.json. Okay, and this is actually a promise. Is this a promise? No, response is a promise, but JSON is not a promise. So this is the actual JSON. And we have to, of course, await this thing. So this has to be an async function. Okay, now it's a promise. Okay, so const JSON is that. So we can actually await this thing. So this is now actually the JSON. And then we can just return JSON, but we only want to return JSON.completions. So this returns just a list. Now, of course, there might be some error somewhere, which we might want to handle. But just to get this up and running, let's do that. And let's change our server to actually get it from the JSON. So I think there is like a request.json. Is it like this directly? Maybe. But here we send it as text. So let's call this message. Now I guess we should do like get message. And let's add some if not message, then we return error, no message provided. And I don't think we have to do JSON dumps, we just return it like that. And I think we can add like a 400 error here like this, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so this should get the completions for a specific text. And when do we want to do this? Well, kind of we want to do it for every keystroke, but that's kind of too much. So let's think about this. We're going to do autocomplete on every key up, and this is the do autocomplete. And we have get autocompletion, which will get the text and then parse from the autocompletion list the things that we can autocomplete. So we have to replace this with that. So we can say that const autocompletion list is going to be get completions text. And we have to await this thing, and this has to be an async function. And where do we call get? This has to be await as well, and this has to be async. And where do we call this thing? Here. This, I guess, doesn't need to be async. That's fine. And now we're going to do this with every keystroke. So could we have some kind of autocompletion cache? Let's do this. And this is going to be a let. And let's just make it like this at the moment. And let's do here. If our autocompletion cache, then we return autocompletion cache. Otherwise, we do this. And let's say that the const completions is that. And we are going to save them to the cache and then return them. And we are going to do set timeout. And we're going to remove everything from the cache after, I don't know, 5 minutes, not 5 minutes, maybe 5 seconds. So then every 5 seconds, let's make it 2 seconds right now, we're going to destroy the cache. So only every 2 seconds we are going to send the request to ChatGPT, which is still kind of fast, but just to see how it works, let's do that. So let's see if that will work. We have already restarted the thing, and if I go to this page and let's open the console too. Let's actually open the network. So here we have network, and did we already do something? Let's clear everything. And let's say, hello. Why don't I see anything? Or I have a filter on. Okay, we send many times to complete. Okay, it didn't work. We send a message every time for every letter to complete. So why did that happen? Oh, because we don't have anything in the cache. So we have to actually wait until we get the response. So we have to say, if we are already getting the response, we're not going to do it again. So how about we do something like this? When we actually go to the fetch, then let's set fetching completions to true. And let's set that here. Let fetching completions equal false. And if we are fetching completions, then we just return an empty list. And when we have fetched the stuff, then we say fetching completions is false. So now we're not going to fetch multiple times at once, if I did this correctly. So let's try and see if that works. So let's go back here and clear everything and refresh this and clear it again. Hello. Okay, we did only one fetch. But if I now change it and I say sorry for the late, then actually the problem with this is that we are going to send the previous message again, because the first time I press a button, it will send it and then it will not send it again. So what did we get in the latest one? Oh, we actually sent sorry for the lat. And the response was e-response, e-payment, e-delivery, e-arrival. So we have to prompt this a little bit differently now, because this is not going to work. But what was the next one? Okay, we send H at first, because when I press a button, it will do the request. But then the next keystrokes will not be sent because we are already sending it. So how are we going to solve this? How about we actually do this? Let's set still this auto-completion list here. And let's actually set it to an empty list. And let's make this getCompletions function just update the auto-completion list. So let's just say auto-completion list is completions. I guess we can just do that. And we don't necessarily have to return anything from this. And let's call this update completions. So this will just get a text, and then it will fetch the completions for that, and then it will update this global auto-completion list. And then here we can do some debounce in a way that I usually do debounce. I'm not sure if this is necessarily the right way, but I say just here, really. And if not really, then we are going to set timeout with a function that will call update completions where really is set to true. And then it will just return. And of course we have to set some sort of time here. So let's call it 500 milliseconds, for example. So now when we call this function, we are at first going to wait 500 milliseconds. And actually I have to set this to completion timeout. And I have to clear the timeout, completion timeout. So let's set this here, completion timeout. So the first time we're just going to set this completion timeout and we're going to wait for 500 milliseconds. And if during that wait time we call this function again, then we're going to clear that timeout and we're actually not going to do it. And we're going to set another timeout. So we're only updating the completions when we stop typing for 500 milliseconds. Although I'm not sure if that is the best thing to do, because if you're just typing, we would want to get the auto-completion still, even if we're typing fast. But let's go step by step and see how this will go. But now, of course, we can't just call get completions like this. And in fact, we don't have to do this because we have now this global auto-completion list. So when do we then update the completions? Well, we are going to do it somewhere. Actually, we can just do it on every keystroke now. So we can just call here update completions with the div text content. And is get autocompletion now even an async function? It is not. So we can remove async and we can remove await. And now when we call update completions, we are going to do it after 500 milliseconds if we don't call it again. And we have get autocompletion that works just the same as before. And that should work now. Let's try and see what it does. If we go back here and we clear everything and we say, let me know, we are going to send it now. And we probably get something like, let me know what you think, if you need any more information, if you have any questions, and so on. Okay, that works. So can I actually say, if you have, it doesn't work. Any questions? Okay, because now it changed this thing. So we have to update our system message to actually work properly. You are an email autocompletion generator. Generate a list of possible things the email author might want to type next. Type the full or provide the full sentence, even the part the user has typed already. Okay, let's see if that will already do it. Refresh. Let me know what you, come on, think. Why doesn't it work? Okay, think about the proposal. Okay, now I actually want to make this bigger again. So let's go back here and in our index, let's do 35 columns. Let's actually do 45. All right. Now, it was kind of slow. Let's see again what will happen. If I say, let me know if you have any. Okay, we didn't get any autocompletions. And we still got further questions, updates, concerns, additional information. So let's provide an example for ChatGPT. Let's make this a multi-line string. And let's say here, example, message. Hello, I would like to apologize for my, and then the completions, or let's say response, is going to be this. But it is not this. It is in fact this and that and this. So now we actually have in the completions the whole sentence that we want to use. Let's see if that will work. Refresh and clear. Hello, how are, and if I now add a space, you doing today? Okay, now it works. But it is kind of slow. So we need to make it fetch the completion faster. Because now it's waiting for the 500 milliseconds of non-typing. But if I type really fast, then it's never going to get the next thing. So how should we do this? Let's go back to the script. What if we just, let's remove this really thing from here. What if we just say that we have a last completion fetch, which is going to be new date. And then we can say if last completion fetch is greater than new date minus 1000. So if we have fetched the completions in the past second, then we just return. Let's do that. And let's call this like a completion timeout. Let's call this completion timeout. Const completion timeout is, I will say 2 seconds. And I will also say if fetching completions, then we return. So I don't want to have multiple fetches at the same time. I mean, what if it gets stuck? Maybe we can have that. Maybe it's fine. Let's just do that. And then we have to set the last completion fetch to this time. So now every time we call this update completions, if we haven't called it in the past second, then we call it. So that should work better. Let's see if that will now work. Clear this and refresh this. And let's see. Sorry for my late response. I've been caught up with other tasks. Okay, let's actually hide this thing. And I will make it a little bit smaller and make it a little bit bigger here. So we can actually see something in this. Now actually it would be nice if we could make it like a wrap around. Make the auto completion wrap around. Let's try again. Sorry for my late response. I've been swamped with work. But why does it not... this is our problem. We make it lowercase. We should only check it with lowercase, but then we should respond with the uppercase version. Okay, there have been difficulties in... Why doesn't it tell me? Damn it. Okay, so why didn't it work? Okay, it actually did work. It's just slow. It's kind of annoying. Let's try again. And again, I can't do Control A for some reason. That's a bug I have to fix. Maybe the fix I did before where I just hid the auto-completion and not deleted it. I think I fixed this issue with that. But hey, let's try to see if it works now. Sorry for the late response. I've been swamped with work lately. I had an accident, please, and was unable to check my messages with my motorcycle. Okay, it's kind of slow, but I'm not sure if we can do anything about that because it's just a ChatGPT API. Now, maybe it responded with so many things. I actually don't know how many things we have here. We have 3 different things and it has the whole thing in here. So let's say that respond only with the last sentence, I guess. Respond, the completions should only have the last sentence in them. And let's add here also like, hello, I joined a meeting with your company yesterday. I would like to apologize for my behavior yesterday. That makes sense. So now it can see that in this example, we only use the last sentence. And I guess I should remove this because I only want one thing in there. Let's do that. And let's refresh this thing. Hello, I'm sorry for my late response. Okay, we actually got it, but I'm still too fast. Response. I have been... Let's remove this from here. Now, why don't we get anything? I have been. What did it respond with? I have been swamped with work lately. Okay, this is because we have the 40% rule in there. So let's remove that. And let's make it like... let's call this max len. And let's say const max len is the minimum of sentence length or not text length, but something we decide. So what is a nice length for this? So when we have typed this much, how many characters is that? This is 11 characters. So let's do 10 characters. When we have typed 10 characters at least, then we get the auto-completion. Let's do 7 characters, whatever. So now it should work better. Let's refresh. Hello, I am sorry for my late response. I have been swamped. Damn it. Why does it not do it now? I have been swamped with work lately. That's exactly what I'm typing here. But we don't get anything. Wait a minute. This is not correct. This is not correct. I just have to say -7. So if we have typed 7 characters of the sentence, then we're going to do that. And we have to still use math and let's do 0. Maybe that will work. So now, hello, I am sorry for my late response. I have been what? Busy with other priorities. I'm screwing something up here now. Let's go back. This is 0.6. Let's just remove the whole thing. Let's just use sentence length. What is going on here? Hello, I have been what? Okay, so now it's... Of course, we have to minus at least like 1 or 2 from this. Because now it's going to do it with an empty thing. Hello, I want to apologize for my behavior. What if I say friends, and behavior? Okay, first of all, we have to also add the autocompletion even if we stop typing. Like we have to add it after it arrives. If we say something like hello and space, then we need to add it when it comes, because now we only add it after we change this. Although now we didn't do anything. Why is that? Because we added an exclamation point here, so it doesn't work. But if we add an exclamation point, then we get it. How are you doing? So I would now like to get the autocompletion, but it only happens after I use backspace. So let's try to fix that. And I will leave this at this -2. That seems to work pretty well. But when we update the completions, we should call something after the fetch has been completed. And we are calling this now just here. So I guess we can just call do autocomplete when it's done. So we need to pass in here the div and the text area. So we can just call this in update completions down here. When we get it, we call that. Maybe that's not the best way of doing it, but it should work. Let's see if that works. Refresh. I am sorry for my late response, please. It doesn't work. But if I remove one, it still doesn't work. Did we get some error now? I am sorry for my late response. Why does it not work? Late. That works. What on earth? Response. I have been busy. That's weird. Let's add some debugging in here. Oh, sorry. I'm an idiot. I need to pass in the div and the text area here. Div, text area. Okay, let's try it again. I'm sorry for the late response. It still doesn't work. But if I remove 2 characters, okay, is that the space now the issue? I think the space is the issue. Late response. I have been, and then, do we get it? We don't get it. But if I remove one, okay, what? Let's add something that we actually see what is going on. Let's go to index and let's add here like a div id debug. And when we update this here, let's say const debug is document query selector debug. And let's here say that debug.inner HTML too soon plus equals too soon. That's great. And then let's say here fetching. And then let's say here fetch complete. And in do autocomplete, we are going to say doing autocomplete. And what else? Let's say here auto completions or autocompletion is, let's add autocompletion. And in get autocompletion, let's also do this, and autocompletion list is going to be this. Let's do JSON stringify that. And let's see what on earth is going on here. Hello. We get a bunch of stuff. Autocompletion null. Autocompletion list is just age. Really? Is that what we got from here? Just got age. I'm sorry for my late and okay. So we don't send it anymore after we stop it. So already when we said I'm sorry, then we send the request, and while it was getting the request, we added for my late. So then we're not gonna do the fetch again. So we should have kind of 2 different things. We should have one that is fetching in the background as we are typing, and then one that fetches after we stop typing for a while. So let's do that. That means we have to change our function. So let's move the fetching into its own place. So let's make an async function update completions with the text. And this one just does the fetch. And it will return JSON completions. That's all. So then here we can say that the completions list is going to be await update completions. But this has to be called something else now. So where do we call this? Here. Well, let's call this update completions and let's call this fetch completions. And this is going to be fetch completions. And here we can do, I guess, both of those things that we did previously. So let's call completion timeout, completion interval or something like this. And let's have that completion timeout here. And let's set that here. So every single time we call update completions, we say clear timeout and then we do set timeout and we call here update complete. Well, we can't do that. Damn it. That's why we have to have a different function. Because now we call this and then we set the timeout again. I mean, yeah, so yeah, that's fine. We have to have the really here now. And really is true. So if not really, then we do all this stuff like that. But we don't return. And here we can, I guess, say if not if not really, and this one. So when we actually go to the really part, where we actually call this in the end, then we don't care what was the last time we called it. We will always call it and then do the auto-completion. But are we now in an infinite loop? Because we are calling it here. So I guess we can add here an extra update, and if not update, or if update is not false, then we're going to do this. Okay, I think this is way too complicated. I can simplify it, but at the moment I can't think of a better way of doing this. So then in here, when we do autocomplete, we say update is false so that we don't call this again. Let's see again what will happen. Refresh. Hello. Hello, how are you doing? Hello, I hope, and so on. And then we get hello, like this. Now it seems to work. How are you doing today? We actually got it here. I am sorry for my late response. Yes, I have been busy with work. Please let me know if you want to continue with the project. Great. So now it's working pretty well. Now we just have to add the tab button and the right arrow key so that we can actually complete the thing. Yes, let's do that. So we have to go to our init autocomplete, and when we press a key, we do the autocompletion, and if the key is tab, e.key, can I actually do that? I didn't know I can use just key. If the key is tab, can I do that? Then prevent default, and then we should add to the text content whatever is in the autocompletion. So we have to say div.text content is that. But this will again reset our caret, so we can't do that. We have to do the same thing as we do in the do autocomplete, which is this thing. So can we extract this into a function? Can we move this outside here, and then we can like call append element, and we can say autocompletion container into the div. But wait a minute, we don't have the this will just add the element to whatever is selected. So let's call this add element to selection. So we don't actually even pass in this one, and this is going to be the function. So let's create that function append element to selection, and we're going to do this in here, and this is going to be the element. Now we have to check what element we are focused on. We are not doing that right now, and I have to say here after, because we want to set the caret after the text when we actually insert the text, but when we show just the autocompletion, we have to set it before that. So if we say after, then we do that, and otherwise we do this. So now we can reuse this function for actually appending the stuff in there. So we can do this. Append element to selection and create text node. Okay, I didn't know this function existed. So we are going to create a text node with the current autocompletion. So now I'm again using like global variables here. Let's call it the autocompletion. How can I get that? I can technically get it from the element. So here we add it. So it's the autocompletion. I mean, I could read it from this. Now adding these global things will ruin my idea of having multiple different text areas. So we have to fix that. I mean, I have a reference to the div here, so we can just do div dot set attribute, and we can set a data or attribute data autocompletion to the autocompletion. So we save it to that div. So then we can have multiple of them. Although the other global things will ruin that. But anyway, we can set an attribute of the autocompletion to the autocompletion. So then we can get the attribute. So down here, we create a text node from the autocompletion, which I guess I can say const, just say autocompletion. Is that. So now we create a text node of the autocompletion, we append it, and we append it with true so that we focus after that text. And we have to say, well, I guess we do this. If autocompletion, then we're going to do it because we might not have the autocompletion. And this can be either tab or e.key. I'm not sure what it's called. ArrowRight. Not sure. What is it? Let's say if we press tab or ArrowRight, then we are going to do it. Okay, I guess it is ArrowRight then. So now it should work. Let's see if it actually works. Sorry for the late reply, and I press tab and it didn't work. I think we cannot do e.key. I think that's the problem. Or maybe we don't have the data autocompletion now. Let's do console log tab. Now if we call e.prevent default, we shouldn't technically like go to the submit button as we did there. Let's try. Refresh. Sorry for the late response. Tab. Did we register a tab? We did not. So let's do this. If we press tab or arrow right. If. Why does it want to do that? But it doesn't work. Can I just console log e.key? Refresh. I am sorry. Tab. There's no tab. Wait a minute. Did it even... we can't do tab with key up. We have to do it with key down. So let's do it like this. Key down. Then we're going to do this. Okay, makes sense. And we don't have to do that anymore. Now it's going to work. Let's refresh. Sorry for the late reply. And I press tab. And we added the autocompletion. I was caught up with other tasks. Arrow right. It works. What have I created? Hello. I just want to ask you if you would like to schedule a meeting. Tab. For next week. For tomorrow night. Come on. Where's my night? Where's my night? Night. Night. Okay. Sometimes it doesn't work for some reason. But hey, we're getting pretty close. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fix the case issue. So in our get autocompletion, we convert the sentence to lowercase and then we slice the end. But we don't want to do that. We have to actually copy the sentence. Say const sentence lower is that. And we only check it here. If the text ends with the sentence, start has to be from the lower and end can be from the sentence. That makes sense. So we match the lowercase text, which we convert here to lowercase, with the lowercase sentence. But then we return the end, which is from the original sentence. So that should now work. So if I say I'm sorry for my late response, tab. And if I do something like this, am I still gonna get, okay. I was dealing with unexpected interruptions. Please let me schedule. Now why don't we get it here? Please let me schedule. So we did not send the latest part for some reason. But if I add a D here, then interestingly, it showed something there, but then it disappears. Why? Please let me know. What? Please let me schedule a time. Please let me know when we can meet further. Wait a minute. Where does this come from? Let's copy these things. Please let me know when would be a good time. Why did we get only one? That's very weird. Up here we got this please let me know when would be a good time. And here too. But then why did it come here again? So we did the fetch complete and then we did the autocomplete with that and that was correct. We added you'll at time to make up for the delay. But then for some reason we got this. Let's actually check the logs in the network. And what did we get here? We sent, I'm sorry for my late response. I was dealing with, okay, we sent this and we got, please let me know when would be a good time to reschedule. Okay, so this is just ChatGPT being stupid because we literally sent the right thing, but it changed it up. Okay, let's change our system message. The completions should only have the last sentence in them. They should match exactly the beginning part of the last sentence the user typed. That makes sense. Let's try one more time. Let's refresh. I would like to apologize. I actually wrote it incorrectly, so maybe that screws it up. Apologize for my behavior yesterday. Please let me know what time we can have the next meeting. I am available on Monday and Wednesday afternoon for the meeting. Now, this is kind of funny what's happening here. So I guess we should add like a overflow to this text box so we can actually have scroll bars. But yeah, it is kind of working. Now I wonder, what if we write code in this? Is it gonna suggest something? If I say something like names equals, and I say Mike, and I say Sarah and John, and then I make a new line, and I say for each of the names, come on, something flashes there, but then it goes away. I'm not sure why. Names as name. Why does it flash like this? What's going on? We got completions every time. Okay. Now it didn't include the whole thing. Yeah, okay. There's some issues we have to fix here, but yeah, it is gonna work. Maybe in the next video. But now I've been coding for 2.5 hours, so I think this is enough for today's video. Let me know in the comments what features I should add to this tool and what would you use it for. And of course, leave me a like and subscribe if you want to see videos like this in the future. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.